Another day, another dev update in Humankind. My name is For Extraordinaire, and I wanted to vent out some anger because Humankind's most recent dev update has kind of irked me just a little bit because, well, there have been a ton of changes. The devs have gone above and beyond, really. Just kind of talking from my previous experience with previous 4X games and everything, and having played strategy games for a while, a lot of the quality of life changes were very needed, and the devs have again gone all out in delivering that to us. But just in terms of the game balance changes, and this is going to be a bit unscripted and a bit of a rant, but in terms of the game balance changes, I was very, very disappointed. The devs, in terms of their culture balancing, if you guys haven't read this, I'll read this very quickly to you. Basically, kind of gave out like a very soft nerf to some of the more powerful cultures, and then they didn't really do anything with some of the weaker cultures. And as a Humankind fan, I think the most painful thing about playing Humankind is really waiting for the next balance update. And I think that kind of says a lot about the game and the state of it itself. There's so much potential with this game, but the devs really, really need to capitalize on fixing some of the balance issues. They have done a great job again on bugs, quality of life, and all of those things with pacing and whatnot, and really trying to fix snowballing and everything with the AI. They've done a fantastic job in that aspect, but things like with culture balancing, I just feel like they really under-delivered in this patch. And let me give you an example. For the Turks, they fixed this really great bug. Adjacency bonus is now correctly set at 5% instead of 300%. I don't know how that error happened. Okay, that's a great change. The French emblematic district now only applies science per population bonus when the city is in science mode. Again, a bit kind of dicey there, but I'll take it. Better than what we had. The Huns and Mongols basically have a more restrictive focus towards getting horse archers and kind of going for a rush. Okay, great. The Harappans have a lowered emblematic district adjacency bonus. Now it's +2 food per district. It was +3. I don't really think that's going to stop them. Their river bonus was really what's kind of driving their insane pop growth. And then the Kume, they tried to balance their one industry per population, but instead they buffed the Kume Beret, which is +4 per adjacent river, which is kind of bonkers. And then the Franks, they actually nerfed the Scriptorium. The Phoenicians, and here's the kicker. This is what I've been waiting to talk about because this was really almost insulting. Basically, they get a cheaper fishing and sealing cost on the technologies, which is really taking a note out of Cis 6's boat because they have a similar thing and we're like rating is a cheaper tech for them. So I don't know what it is with the reduced techs for the Phoenicians, but this was really, really aggravating for me because the Phoenicians are like one of the weakest ancient era cultures. You could have really done anything to kind of buff them and go out of your way. Truly fine tune them. I mean, I would have given them at least something like increased science because the real problem with the Phoenicians is, for those of you that love to play them in the ancient era, it is more of a burden, I think, than an actual boon to really experience the Phoenicians. But anyway, when you play the Phoenicians, you really, really want to get those harbors out because they are one of the only cultures, I think, in the entire game to have an emblematic emblematic quarter rather, that needs to be researched. I think they're like the only culture in the game. Forgive me if I'm wrong. And then the Byreme, coupled with all of that, and the fact that the Haven itself is very underwhelming compared to some of the other emblematic districts that you have to research, is just so sad to see. So I don't know why they did this. It feels like an April Fool's prank, honestly. I would have given at least the Haven some kind of science bonus. The money honestly doesn't really come in too much, as that's kind of the only good thing that the Haven does. It gives you some more bonus money, and you can kind of spam it early on Outpost. I was hoping maybe for some kind of influence, maybe spice up their ability, as they really only focus towards money, but we did not get any of that. I was just really hoping for some kind of change, some kind of balance. I like that they're kind of playing around with technology costs, but I don't really think the Phoenicians need that. They need, for one, either their Haven to be really good, and then maybe you just need to research it later on, or two, just make it so that the Haven itself is able to be unlocked really, really early. So just kind of bummed by that. And then I'm also bummed by the fact that the Hittites, which is arguably one of the weakest cultures in the ancient era, has not been changed at all. And they have a terrible, terrible bonus of like +1 combat strength, which is their affinity, which is pathetic. I can get that from like one civic. And that's like not even past the classical era or even the ancient era. I can already get that and kind of meet them in combat strength. And then top that off with the fact that they have like no bonuses to kind of building cities. Their chariots, which is like the only good thing, come very, very late. So you'll probably be getting those around the classical era. And the fact that their outposts are just kind of wonky and they don't even really do anything. And you lose them later on too. So all in all, the Hittites were a very, very poor culture that did not receive any love. The Phoenicians, just kind of a slap on the wrist. Not, I don't know if the slap on the wrist is the correct terminology, but I think you get what I mean when it was really, really just not well thought out, I think. And then it's just so many other cultures could really, really use some attention, and it's just waiting 2 months for this. I know I'm going to sound impatient. This really feels like there could have been a lot more done for some of these cultures. There are, again, really, really good things in terms of some of the strides that the devs have made with this patch, but just I'm so, so disappointed that um, cultures like the Phoenicians that needed the spotlight did not get it. So I'm just kind of venting here, but I don't want to go on too long and drive you guys insane. But I'm just so, so disappointed with the Phoenicians and among some of the other ancient era cultures. Specifically, I think some of the later cultures, while they do need some balancing and some fine tuning, were nowhere near as unbalanced. Specifically, like the Egyptians, the Egyptians didn't even receive a nerf. Speaking of overpowered cultures, so the ancient era cultures is just so important. You kind of balance them as they are the first cultures you pick, and you really want to give new players, especially, a good impression and a strong landing, and kind of just an even competition with the AI. So I'm just so, so disappointed that the Phoenicians really. I thought they'd be the hero of this patch, and it seems like they're more of the villain. But thank you guys so much for watching. For Extraordinaire here, and I really hope the devs kind of give another stab at balance changes, but this is definitely not it, Chief, as the younger generations say, I guess now. I'm already feeling old. But anyhow, yeah, this was definitely not it. This has been For Extraordinaire. Really hoping the devs kind of give, again, some more spotlight to the Phoenicians. But aside from that, really crossing my fingers for the next update. And I hope you guys at least got something good out of the update. I hope to stream some more later this weekend. And just, again, kind of bummed.